So when Sister Location first released, it was very, very simple to actually beat the game, and it only seemed to be about an hour long, and it didn't really feel right.
Yes, and now obviously the custom night is being released, and we see this image, and it makes you think whether or not the custom night will also be linear.
I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be totally dynamic, and we might be seeing a totally new style of playing here.
Yes.
So what is going on, guys? This is Ryan here.
And this is the Ryan here.
And welcome back, guys, to another discussion video, and this is based on the newest teaser image on scottgames.com. The website has just had a simple black image over it for some time now, and now finally Scott updates us with the not the possibility, but the confirmation of a custom night coming to Sister Location.
Yes, and it's actually confused quite a few of us because we don't know how this is going to work, because in the other Five Nights at Freddy's games, it's kind of simple. It would take what it already had and just implement a harder AI to it. But this one, because the game was such a linear based game and you had to do different things each day, it's like, how is this going to pan out?
Exactly. I mean, that's the first thing I thought when I saw this, because it could be possible that Scott is working on some kind of free roam mechanic where we go into this establishment, and then maybe what he's thinking when he says custom nights, we can go to the different places willy-nilly. But still, that really won't make too much sense, because there was a story entwined, and it wouldn't really make sense then how we'd fall into like the Springtrap suit, unless we could literally just climb into the thing and then purposely spring lock ourselves.
Yeah, well, if he does go for this whole linear thing where you can just choose the nights, maybe it's a custom menu and then you choose the night and then set the difficulty for it, and then it will just start you in that night. So it would be like parts of the story but with custom AI built into it. But I don't know, I don't see how that would be fun in a way, because we've already experienced that. We want something, we want a tougher challenge almost.
Yeah, and what actually seems to be confirming this is the fact that Scott in the bottom corner could have technically classed this, or he did when he first thought, as DLC, which means he's adding a lot more to this game. It's not going to be the same experience before, and I guess that kind of comes from the teaser image alone, when we can see the Bonnie character crawling through the ventilation system, and also a Biddy Bab behind him. We never saw these guys doing this. I guess the Biddy Babs may have done this, but we didn't really see them. It was just a kind of simple, like, they were pulling on the door and we would then pull it tight.
Yeah.
Now the fact that also Bonnie is doing this, that means that maybe Freddy will also be coming nearer to the office, and maybe all of the other animatronics as well.
And in other kind of games, like DLC games, like for example Elder Scrolls and stuff like that, basically you would, when it came to downloadable content, it would be a completely different story entwined in the original story kind of thing. So hopefully this downloadable content will be literally almost like a new game.
Yes, I think it will, and there's a few things in this we should really talk about, because when we actually think about this DLC, you've got to remember in the rooms, and these are unused features currently, there were lots of fuzzy monitors in the main control room. This may not be the exact name for it, but I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about here. These had no images on them, and there was also cameras located around the offices we couldn't actually see through. So it's almost like Scott's put these in place ahead of time, and perhaps there may be a camera system, and it may be more like the traditional style of sitting in the office, checking the lights, things like that, that style of gameplay, and I think that's what we need here.
Yeah, definitely, and it just makes you think as well, because there's loads of keypads in all the numerous rooms. If he's going to actually implement the keypads into this DLC to maybe activate us into another room or something like that.
Absolutely, yeah. That's a very interesting concept. I didn't actually consider that too much, but, you know, he could most certainly incorporate all these different things that beep and make the different sounds, and they might have more relevance than what they do at the minute, because a lot of the community knows as well that during some of the cutscenes and also, like, the sequences where we're watching the television, if you listen very carefully and speed up the footage 400%, you can hear Baby saying different numbers. This has no meaning as of yet. People seem to think it's going to solve the keypads. People have tried different things. It seems like the codes are very randomized and never the same. Maybe this is where we'll start to get answers as to what these things are, and it'll be very interesting because we will be more stationary in the office, which is where the keypads are, and it might be more kind of like a prompt for us to use them. Yeah,
exactly. We also need to think back to Five Nights at Freddy's 4, because obviously we are suggesting all of this, but Five Nights at Freddy's 4 DLC was literally like a reskinned of all the animatronics, which would have taken a while, I will admit, obviously, to reskin each different animatronic, include the mangle and stuff like that. But we're hoping for something bigger, something where, like, for example, maybe the secret ending Ennard, where you're in that little room, is something like that, but with all the characters entwined. So in the vents, you stop Biddy Bab coming through. To the right and left, you stop Baby and all the other animatronics coming through. It would be really cool.
And I guess we've got to think back as well to Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location, excuse me, but the Five Nights at Freddy's 4 sequence where we can see all of the areas on the maps when we're actually sorting out Funtime Freddy. this part was really interesting because we see that the locations are on site here, meaning maybe these nightmare animatronics could potentially visit us. I mean, that's an insane thought to begin with, but the fact of the matter is everything seems to be entwined in the same area. If they're hallucinations, maybe we might start hallucinating.
Yeah.
But more importantly, we're going to now go back to the office because whilst, as Other Ryan was actually saying, we might have like the characters coming from the left and right, we do still have the vent in the middle of us. And I think what we'll actually have to do, and this is where Scott can really change up the mechanics, is maybe during certain sequences, we'll have to go through this ventilation system and then head and do something different in the baby auditorium to stop her from maybe smashing the glass, because this relates back to an IndieDB teaser.
Yeah, the teaser that Ryan's actually referring to, it says step away from the glass. And obviously in the main game, nothing happens when you go near. You can't even go near the glass because you're in a stationary position. So what would be cool is, like Ryan was saying, you're in the other room and you have to stop Ballora and Funtime Foxy from getting in by shocking them, maybe getting them on the stage. Go through to Baby, and if you're too late, or maybe you hear the smash in the distance and you know it's too late, then you have to go in there and get jump scared, or she comes out the vent, which probably is not very likely because she's apparently 6 foot tall. So, but it would be very awesome and very eerie and suspenseful, and that's what Five Nights at Freddy's is all about.
Exactly. It just doesn't make sense. Like, we never have even seen Baby physically apart from Night 5, where she's completely shut down.
Yeah.
Now, it would make sense to actually see this animatronic in its full form because, you know, Mr. Handy speaks about Baby when we're shocking her, saying like, great, she's in place, but we never see anything past the glass in the circus auditorium.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of room here for a lot more mechanics, and it's going to be very interesting however this actually turns out. I am hoping, though, it's going to be very traditional in terms of, like, we have the power, we have the light, and we do actually have some kind of monitor to flick up, because this goes back to the fake ending night, because a lot of people struggled with this one, me included. However, I actually had the most fun playing this night just because it brought back all the old memories and the old mechanics again.
Exactly, and that's what Five Nights at Freddy's has been about. I mean, it's nice that Scott took this turn. It was a very, very refreshing thing to the Five Nights at Freddy's like series, but it's just, I think when I got to that secret ending, like you said, it was just the suspense was back, and like even you relied on sound cues, which was awesome because it kind of had the FNAF 4 like thing in there, and it was like sometimes you would have to, you wouldn't trust your senses, is what I'm saying. Like you'd basically hear a sound cue, then you hear another sound cue, and on the third you'd usually have to check to see if they're near the door, but you can't trust yourself. You feel like you're going to get jump scared at any moment, and that's what the suspense is all about. It's, if he does include that in the custom night, that would be so awesome.
Yeah, we do need something like that for sure, and I think if Scott manages to pull this off, it might actually offer different mechanics to the Enid sequence nearer to the fake ending. And it will be nice because then it will make, like, it won't feel like a repeat of just the fake ending, and I'm just excited to see how he does it. I mean, as I said before, the teaser shows some characters in a ventilation system, which to me kind of tells me the fact that this is going to be a mechanic where, I mean, they could come from behind, they could come down the lift right here, or there's you know, there's 2 different ways we can get into the auditoriums, left and right, that you might just see them like poking their head through there, or some kind of power malfunction. I mean, actually, let's think back as well to something Scott teased in the actual trailer, which is currently taken down. It's been struck by someone. But when it was actually in the Funtime Auditorium, it seems like there was an element of panic and the lights were flickering. This never actually happened in the sister location game.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, that is actually true. And I don't know, it would be cool, like we were saying about the whole Baby thing. Maybe that's what happened just before the glass smashes or something like that. That would be really cool.
If Scott actually does implement this sort of stuff, it will be very, very interesting. And I think it will really breathe a nice breath of fresh air towards sister location and not make it so linear, because I think that's what a few people were first confused about when we first played this. And now that he's given it this custom night, there's going to be, I guess, potentially endless playability with the different combinations. And this actually leads on to the final topic, which is how will Enid be incorporated into this, if at all?
Yeah, because as we know, Enid was this mysterious character that we didn't know until we'd done the secret ending. Like, we wouldn't have even known he existed until the very end, actually, when you see him behind the glass. But we wouldn't know his story until you actually go to the secret ending, or her story. Obviously, if we're going for this custom night where you're set in one room, it would be a little bit difficult. Maybe it'll be like Five Nights at Freddy's 4, when we face all the animatronics up until 4 a.m. and then we're against Enid until 6 a.m, if you know what I mean. So you'd go against Baby.
Almost reminiscent of like the FNAF 4 style.
Yeah, you'd go like Baby, Ballora, and maybe there's certain, like, obviously because Foxy relies on motion, maybe it's not going to be like this whole opening closing doors. Maybe it'll be the fact where you have to completely, like, if you see him, you have to stay completely still, and like obviously if you see Ballora, you have to stay quiet. It'll be really cool.
Yes, different mechanics. And I mean, I guess something we can actually say here as well is we know Enid knows about the office and the fact that his belongings are in there, because because if you remember, guys, on night 5, he actually takes his mask, meaning he can most likely make his way into this office during the various events in the custom night. And it's just, how is he going to do this? And really, how is everything going to come together? It's going to be very interesting. And knowing that we now have a custom night, it gives the game a real amount of depth and really some fun playability as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And there we have it, guys. So that was a discussion on the newest teaser image on skullgames.com. Be sure to also share your thoughts down below as well. There's a lot of characters here that might have a lot of very unique mechanics. So really, how do you guys think that all going to be implemented?
Yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, why not leave a like rating down below? And if you're new to the channel, why not subscribe for more sister location things like this and other indie games.
So thank you so much for watching this video, guys. We of course hope you did enjoy, and we will of course see you on the next one.
Goodbye, guys.
Want to see even more content from us?
Consider liking and subscribing to ensure you'll see all content in the foreseeable future.
And hey, why not check out our past 2 videos?